just like conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, we can be. So, could you please tell me what's your name?
My name is Richard Albertson. Richard.
Richard. So,
You
my
can call me
name is
Richard.
Min.
Min.
My name is Sal.
Sal.
And my name is Ellen.
M.
Yes, I'm Sherry.
Cherry. Sherry or cherry?
Sherry.
Sherry. Sherry, M, Sal, and Min. Is that right? Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And thank you so much for coming our interview.
Okay, you're welcome.
So, where are you from?
I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, which is the northwest corner of the United States, near Vancouver, Canada. However, I left Seattle in 1981, and I have not lived there since. I lived in New York City for 2 years. I lived in Saudi Arabia for 7 years. I lived in Japan for 25 years.
25 years. So
That's right.
can you speak Japanese?
A little bit.
Oh.
Not much.
Can you show us?
Okay, Ohio gozaimasu. Good morning.
So, how about Saudi Arabia? Where did you do there?
Oh, what did I do there? Okay, I was a teacher at a university. It was a university that focused on primarily engineering and international business. It was located in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, which is near where the oil fields are. And the large oil company in Saudi Arabia is Aramco, and our university was right next to Aramco. And part of our responsibility was to provide workers for, or not workers, but staff members for the Aramco oil company. And I taught. It was sent. The university was called the University of Petroleum and Minerals, and it was similar to Mount University. The first year was preparatory English, and students had 20 hours of English per week for 28 weeks, so almost 600 hours of English. Plus they had math, they had physical education, they had work, what do they call it? I can't remember right now, where they do make tin things in wood shop. They had wood shop, yeah. and to prepare them to do university work, all in English. So all the classes were in English. So they had 1 year of intensive English, and then they went to the university level. And I taught intensive English, but I also taught at the university level. I taught English composition, and I taught technical writing. Yeah. And I was there for 7 years. And then I went to Japan, and I taught for a Japanese steel company for 7 years, Sumitomo Metals, and I taught at a American or international insurance and finance. Well, at Sumitomo Metals, I taught both business English and technical writing, and at the American insurance company, insurance and financial services company, I taught mainly business English.
And I wonder why you came to Thailand.
Well, actually, from 1977 to 1980, I taught at Chiang Rai Vientiane School in Chiang Rai for 3 years. And then I went back to America and I got my master's degree. And so since, as I mentioned, since that time I've taught English, and now I'm about ready to retire, so that's why I came back to Chiang Rai.
Did you came here alone?
No, actually my wife is from Chiang Rai.
Oh.
She was an English and French teacher at Samaki School. Mhm.
Do you have any children?
No, we have a cat. We don't have any children.
You can take care of your.
Yeah, so we can take care of pets. That's right.
What is your cat name?
Her name is Cece.
Cici.
Yeah, and the reason for that is when we were in Japan, we would take care of cats which were abandoned. Okay, they were what we call stray cats, and so she was a kitten, and it looked like she was sick, and so my wife picked her up, and we took care of her. But when she first came to our house, she was very frightened, and so she would always sit in the corner. And so Cece means corner cat, because she likes to stay in the corner. But she's almost 16 years old.
16?
Yeah, so she's a very old cat now. But she looks young.
Can you speak Thai?
Yes, I can speak Thai. A little bit.
No, like you have fluency.
I think in sort of common conversation, everyday conversation, my listening is much better than my speaking. So I read and I listen. My receptive skills are much better than my speaking and writing skills.
So you,
So I'll listen. I listen to conversations, but I don't say very much. So I understand what my students are saying.
but you.
I don't let them know. No.
So in the United States, from your hometown, how many siblings do you have?
I have an older sister, and she went to university on the East Coast, and well, I'm from the West Coast. Seattle is on the West Coast. New York, Washington, D.C. are on the East Coast, and she went to university on the East Coast, and after she went to university, she just stayed on the East Coast. So she and her husband live in Washington, D.C.
Oh, so you both away from home.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, actually, my father died when he was 84 years old, and my mother is still alive. She's 92, and but she now lives near my sister. So actually, I don't go home very much because my mother and my sister now live on the East Coast. It's a long way away from Thailand.
So how often do you go to your home?
It used to be once every 2 years, but now it's once every 4 or 5 years.
Do you miss your hometown?
That's a good question. When I was a boy, my family moved a lot, so I don't have a lot of friends, and my family is now moved out. My mother now doesn't live in my hometown, so I miss it a little, but not a lot.
But do you miss American food or?
Actually, it's kind of interesting. I like hot and spicy food, so I miss eating Mexican food. But I don't miss hamburgers or anything generally. Like American food. In the Northwest, we have a lot of salmon, and so I ate when I was living in Japan, we could eat salmon quite often. But now in Thailand, there's not. I mean, there's salmon here, but it's not quite as fresh as in Japan or in the United States. So I miss that a little bit, but basically I miss Mexican food.
Do you like Thai food?
Oh, yes, very much, because I like all spicy food.
Oh.
I like Indian food and Thai food and Mexican food and Korean food. Any food that's spicy, I like.
So, can you find Mexican food around here?
I think there's one restaurant on the way from here to town. There's a restaurant on the left side, but I've never eaten there.
I think it's interesting, but I never go there.
Yeah.
So, in the past, you have to move a lot. Why did you have to move a lot?
Well, it was mainly because my father, because of his job, actually he was a college professor, and actually I moved because during the time I was a child, he was getting his doctor's degree. And so he would study for a year and then go back to the university, study for another year and go back to the university. So I moved a lot then. And I guess I got in the habit of that, doing that. So once I started my career, I moved quite a bit.
Will you tell me whether you like to return here or not?
Well, actually, Chiang Rai has, I think, the best weather in Thailand because it's got a nice cool season, and the rainy season is not so rainy, and the hot season is not so hot.
Really?
But actually, this morning when I was walking to work, I felt very hot and the weather was humid. But yeah, in Chiang Rai, I like the weather.
How about the haze?
Oh, it's interesting. For some reason, it doesn't bother me. It's not that, to me, the pollution is not that strong. And so my wife, she has allergies, and so the haze bothers her quite a bit, but it doesn't bother me. Where is your hometown?
My hometown is Pattani.
Pattani in the south.
Yes.
And what do you think about the haze?
Actually, in my hometown, don't have a haze.
Mm-hmm.
And the weather is fine, and sometimes raining, sometimes hot.
How about in Chiang Rai? Does the haze bother you? Does the smog bother you?
Yes, the haze is bothering me so much.
Mm.
I don't go out anywhere.
Do you wear a mask?